In the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death inside their off-campus residence. Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee all gone. The brutal crime shook the community and touched the nation, setting off an intense manhunt for a killer. Investigators from the Moscow Police Department joined forces with the Idaho State Police and the FBI, following every lead, every tip, and every piece of evidence. That investigation took them across the country to Pennsylvania and led them to this man, a grad student at a neighboring university. This man, now accused of being a mass murderer, responsible for one of the most notorious crimes on our docket. He is facing a potential death sentence, and his attorneys are fighting hard. And now, a major ruling by Judge, and it's another one in favor of the defense. What does this mean for the case? What does this mean for the victims' families? We'll break it all down as we continue our intense coverage of the Idaho student murders. But first, the 14-year-old Appalachia High School shooter is in custody facing murder charges. But there's much more to this story, specifically a prior threat identified by the FBI that led to law enforcement speaking with the shooter and his father more than a year before the massacre. And now, the father is also charged with murder and facing the prospect of dying behind bars. Tonight, newly released body cam video of law enforcement speaking with the accused shooter's father.
Yeah, I want you to talk to him and just tell him.
Will this video help convict the father or set him free? Tonight, we take a closer look. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. This is a big night and 2 big stories. And we begin with Appalachia High School, the victims and their families. What will justice look like for them? And when I talk about justice, I talk about the truth coming out about who is responsible, who will be held accountable here, who knew what, when, and what did they do with that information. There's a lot to this. A lot. And we begin with the accused shooter himself. I look at that, that's a strong case. That's a strong case. Between eyewitnesses, forensic evidence, the weapon, everything else involved with that, and his alleged cooperation perhaps in admitting to the whole thing. So the case against him is going to be strong, and we understand that at the end of the day, this is the person who chose to take those lives, if it turns out to be the 14-year-old who's accused. Okay, that's the easy case. The easy way to understand responsibility for what happened here. But it goes beyond that. How about the school and school officials? What did the school know? Whether you go back in time, that day, did they have information? What did they do with the information? What actions did they take? What actions didn't they take? How did they react the day of? And that's part of the continuing investigation in this case. And when we talk about the school, we may not be talking about criminal liability, but we're talking about responsibility. Because at the end of the day, the goal is the same here across the board. It's to keep innocent students and teachers safe inside of schools, period. So wherever the problems are, they need to be identified, and there needs to be some level of accountability for those problems, mistakes, negligence, recklessness, whatever it is. Now, the one everyone's talking about, the accused shooter's father. What did the father know? We're going to find out in a minute exactly what he knew. We're going to find out in a minute. But we know he's on the hook here. We know there's precedent for a parent being charged. That happened in the Oxford case. This case, we'll show you some of the evidence, could be a worse case. Like, everyone looked at Oxford and was like, this is bad. Well, this may very well be worse. So let's start going through some of the evidence and understanding this. We begin with an alleged post made by the accused shooter, this man's son. It happened on a social media app called Discord, and this is via CNN. Threats that were made. This is a little bit more than a year before the actual shooting. I'm committing a mass shooting. Couldn't be any clearer. I'm committing a mass shooting, and I'm waiting a good 2 to 3 years, stated the account user. I can't kill myself yet because I'm not contributing anything to culture. I need to go out knowing I did. And when he talks about culture, he's talking about the school shooting culture, whatever that is. So this threat, I mean, this is direct. There's no room for ambiguity here. The author of that social media post wanted to commit mass murder, wanted to take out children, wanted to take out his own life, and wants all the notoriety for it. Clear as day. So now the FBI investigates that, tracks down the person they believe is responsible, but not to the point that they could prove it or charge him with anything, but at least put people on notice. And that's where we get to local law enforcement going to the home of the accused shooter and his father. His father is the one who answers the door. I've got the video. It might make you angry, but this is what happened.
Colin? I am. You want to step out where you can talk real quick? You got a son or something that uses, you know what Discord is? No. So we got a tip from the FBI saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions that made a threat to shoot up a school. For real? Yes, sir. And your name was associated with that address. So we went over to that address, and you weren't living there, so you never live here. Let me get dressed. Sure. Sorry, boys. That's all right. Sorry. I got up watching the golf tournament and sat back down. That was it. That was it. Yeah. So what? Tell me what. You have any kids or anything living here? Yeah, Colt Gray. Colt? Yeah, Colt. He's my oldest son. How old is he? He's 13. So play a lot of video games and stuff? Yeah, he does. Like all the time. Is he here right now? Yeah. But you think it's something you might have... I damn sure want to know. Can you talk to him? Yeah, absolutely. Now look, he gonna get all red-faced when you talk to him. Just calm, all right? So him and his... Let me give you a backstory. So we lived over Traditions. I went to work one day. I'm the sole provider. Build high-rises downtown. So I get a call from one of y'all. So my family's in law enforcement. So when I get the call, I'm trying to think the officer's name. Turns out, nicest guy ever. He's like, I just want to let you know I'm at your house. I'm like, for what? He said, y'all have been evicted. I'm like, no, I just paid rent. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm going to stay here till you get here. So I drove all the way home. All in the front yard. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'll just let you know this is what's going on. There's people standing there with trailers. And I'm like, what are they doing? He's like, well, they're going to get your stuff after 24 hours. Is that right? Like, I don't even know why y'all are here. So, long story short, I'm like, trying to figure out what's going on with my wife. She's in the house. So we split. Long story short, for obvious reasons. She took my younger two and went back home, lived with her mom. Colt and I rented a house and came here. So we've been good, no problems. He struggled at first with the separation. All school was kind of so-so. So I've been up at school countless times just tracking with him, hey, make sure you're good. They understand what's going on. He goes to Jefferson School? He goes to Jefferson Middle School, yes, sir. So he's been doing really good. Like, you know, in the beginning, he kind of struggled a little bit. But
let me ask you this: do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are there. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you, if that is what was said. But
well,
we've been up to the school for so many times now.
The information I got was sort of incomplete, and I don't know how old it is. And like I said, the original complaint went to your other address, or your previous address, and that's where we just came from, and it wasn't them.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it wasn't.
I don't know if, and so we ran I had your name and date of birth, so that's how we got this address. So,
I mean, I swear to God, we've been up to school. I've been up to school, like, I'm on first name. I just was up there 3 days ago for his finals, talking to the principal, like, look, make sure Colt's good. He gets flustered and under pressure. He doesn't really think straight. Can we just, just kind of put your arms around him, get him through 7th grade? I just want to make sure he's good. Like, I mean, we're up there all the time talking to school. If you talk to that school, they'll know exactly who I am. I'll say that. I mean, because I'm up there that much, you know?
Checking in on him.
Yeah, I just want to make sure he's good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little taken back by the whole thing, but I can tell you this, I take that very serious, and so does he, as a matter of fact. You know,
It says his first name's Colt.
Colt, C-O-L-T, yes, sir.
I mean, all I can do is ask him.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I want you to talk to him and just tell him. Like, I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm going to be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you, I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. Like on my phone.
You can get him away from those video games.
Exactly right. That's the God honest truth. And the picture on my phone is him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer. It was just the greatest day ever. So he knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of it's kind of a little bit of a shock. So in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's no joke.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
scary. Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
Yeah.
You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him. So, y'all.
All right, well, if you want to grab them,
y'all talk to him.
Or we can go in.
That's all cool. Hang on.
Where's it out?
These
are good dudes. Just
hey, Colt, what's going on, bud? So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Said something about shooting up a school.
Did you say something about school shooting?
Never. I just told him, I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else. I would never say I was threatening.
You never ever said.
No, I swear.
Do you use Discord?
Discord?
Yes, sir.
I used to. I don't have it.
When's the last time you used it?
Like a few months ago.
Really?
Was it at Traditions or was it here?
No, it was at Traditions because in that Discord account that I had deleted it before you moved here. Yeah, because I think it got it had been password pulled or something. Like I clicked on a link and somebody.
Have you heard anybody on Discord when you were using it say something like that? Remember?
Like at that time?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think I ever had anybody that.
Never. And I mean, I'm not trying to get anybody hemmed up, but this is some serious stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he knows how serious it is, trust me.
I'd hate to, my boss was even I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, no, I'd rather do it now, because
so would we.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job, I'd feel pretty bad about that. So I just want to make sure you understand that if something like that happened or you hear something like that, report it.
Yeah, Yeah.
Tell your dad, tell teacher.
Like I told him, I would promise I would never say something.
So you haven't used Discord in a few months?
Oh, no.
And you're saying you didn't say anything like that?
No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch the videos.
Okay. All right, well, fair enough.
What's your birthday?
He's just going to do a little report saying that
We talked.
we've done in reference to this and that we talked, and you saying that we didn't say anything like that. And I got to take you at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's
a serious thing. Really.
It's not unusual for people to lie to police.
He's familiar with that.
Hey, Colin, what's a good phone number for you, sir? Okay.
How's school going?
Oh, it's going good here.
About ready to get done with it?
I actually already finished.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I finished.
When was your last day?
Today, Sunday, so Friday.
Friday? What grade you going into?
8th grade.
8th grade, almost high school, man.
Yeah.
The last 4 years, really, the last 4 years is what matters.
Yeah, so I'm just focusing on something.
Get them good grades, man. It'll set you up for the rest.
Yeah, so look, you all are welcome any time. We take it like dead serious around here, and I just want to make sure that I'd even feel better if you do find out what or where. Mm-hmm. Like, can somebody let us know? Cause
sure.
He's going to be full of anxiety until this gets resolved. I can tell you that right now.
I've never really said something related to school.
So did you switch schools when you moved from Traditions? Where were you going before?
West Jackson.
West Jackson Middle? Okay. Is things a lot better now?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. That's good.
Let me grab you one. Can I walk through the grass? I'm going to grab a car real quick.
Yeah, it's all good.
Are you getting bullied over there at West Jackson Middle?
That's the thing. I wasn't back there. I wasn't getting
Now, look, be honest with him about that now in middle school. I told him you were now, and that's...
You getting switched out halfway through the school year? Being the new guy?
Yeah, I'm being that while. We moved like 6 times already. So.
Well, my dad was a logger and grew up in the military. We moved a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, at the past schools, surprisingly, I don't have reasons. Like, I didn't even necessarily have a reason that I would say that or anything.
Yeah. Well, there's always somebody you can talk to if you need to.
Yeah, sure.
School resource counselors.
Yeah, and I do talk to them. Yeah, I talk to the counselor quite often.
Okay.
Just, let her update her on, just how my life's going and stuff like that.
Yeah, start looking out and making goals for yourself.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You interested in anything?
I want to be a philosopher.
A what?
A philosopher.
A philosopher.
Yeah. It's kind of out there for me, but that's...
Yeah. Well, do what you enjoy. I did 20 years in the military. You don't have to settle on just one thing.
Yeah.
Did 20 years in the military, retired from that, and been doing this for 7. So you don't have to fit everything inside the box.
Yeah, that might branch out to different stuff.
We got guys at the sheriff's office. They're full-time plumbers, full-time police officers, and do what pays the bills. Do what they enjoy. But everything's going good.
Yeah, now they get.
Well, look, Colt, I appreciate it. Your dad's got my card. If you hear anything, tell your dad. He's got my number. He'll pass the info on.
It's serious. He knows how serious it is, and he'll, like I said, we'll have a long conversation here in just a little bit, and it's something, it's a pretty traumatic thing that him and I both went through now. He was at school, I was at work, come home, and every ounce of what we had was under tarps and sitting in that yard. You saw it. Yeah. You saw the clientele, the neighbors that lived there. It was like fully embarrassing. So it was very traumatic for both of us. And living here, just us, is like, dust is finally settled. He's making good grades. So
that's good. We'll keep that up. That's important.
We'll start talking about traditions in West Jackson and just see if something jogs his memory like that. But certainly we'd like to know if you do find...
Well, my thing is this. So more than likely they track the IP address.
Okay.
And that's why we went to that address.
Okay.
Because the IP addresses are usually location specific.
Yep.
Within an area. So if it came from that house, then either somebody there is lying or the information is just so old.
Yep.
And, you know, maybe it was something he heard or did on Discord months ago. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
So, but he's telling me he didn't. He's telling me he can't remember anything like that. And
Yep.
I take you at your word. Okay. Sure. If you look me in the eye and you tell me that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take it to work right now, but yes, sir. But like I was telling your dad, if you find out otherwise, then it's a different story, okay?
It's a really different story. Okay.
Got any questions?
No, sir.
You have any questions? Yes, sir. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, sir.
Y'all be safe.
Good luck to you.
I'll knock out a report. You want me to do it?
It don't matter. It's just going to be an information. Our agency assist made contact with these people. They had no idea. The husband said that he hasn't been on Discord since fantasy football. And then Colin made contact with him and then brought his son, got his date of birth, brought him out and spoke to him. Apparently he was getting bullied. Very soft-spoken, reserved kid.
Yeah. Pretty much unable to substantiate anything at this point.
No.
And until we get more information from this so-called tip from the FBI, then I don't know.
We got Dad's phone number, so we'll just do an agency assist report for the FBI and write it up and we'll be done.
Sounds like a plan to me.
This is a law enforcement problem, too. What I just saw? This is a law enforcement problem, too. Whether it's the miscommunication between locals and the FBI, but how do IP addresses work? How many times do we get people convicted for child pornography based on their IP address? Like, that's like a real thing. Oh, maybe it's old. What? And you know, everyone's jumping all over the father. I get it. But did you just gather the tone of that conversation? The tone, I mean, the father's like, yeah, if you hear something, let me know. It's like he's telling him nothing. I get it, the father's in denial, but the father's saying he knows everything about guns, there's guns available, and he's being bullied. And the police are just like, oh, da, 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 da. And everybody is just la, la, la. No one is taking this seriously. Did these police know about the actual content of the message, talking about mass shooting, talking about taking his own life? Wow. All right. We've got a lot more to get to. We're going to bring in our think tank when we come back, plus coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, Donna Adelson is accused of being a part of a murder-for-hire plot that ended the life of her former son-in-law, Dan Markell. Where was she during the murder, and did she try to flee the country?
Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan.
In every story, in every trial, every case, there's at least two sides to it.
To dive into the latest.
Oh my God.
And breaking true crime stories.
This was a very targeted, very personal attack.
Inside.
I've never seen that in a discovery. I've been incarcerated 3 years.
And outside of the courtroom.
She's a psychopath.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan Investigates. Tonight, 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
Second-degree murder is different in Georgia than other states. It's a rather new charge, and it is specifically geared towards cruelty to children in the second degree. If you commit cruelty to children in the second degree that causes a death, that is second-degree murder. I'm not trying to send a message. I'm just trying to use the tools in my arsenal to prosecute people for the crimes they commit.
All right, let's go through this charge of second-degree murder against the accused shooter's father. Take a look. Overall, he's facing second-degree murder, 2 counts for the 2 children, involuntary manslaughter, 4 counts, and cruelty to children, 8 counts. Here it is, and here's the law in Georgia. Second-degree murder. A person commits the offense of murder in the second degree when, in the commission of cruelty to children in the second degree, he or she causes the death of another human being irrespective of malice. So what is cruelty to children in the second degree? Any person commits the offense of cruelty to children in the second degree when such person with criminal negligence causes a child under the age of 18 cruel or excessive physical or mental pain. The punishment for this, a person convicted of the offense of murder in the second degree, shall be punished by imprisonment not less than 10 nor more than 30 years. So that's 20 years right there. And you haven't even gotten to the other 2 shootings. So is this guy a murderer? Let's bring in the think tank. Joining us tonight, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Also with us, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland, joining us from Parts Unknown. And family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Great to see everyone. Thanks for being here. All right, Al, I'll start with you. Does this, I mean, we watched this 15-minute body cam video where the father's being spoken to by police. That's the information that he has. Based on that, is that second-degree murder?
I have a problem with that, but I have a problem with how this whole thing was handled in the first place. You've got a situation as serious as that, and you're talking to the kid on the porch of his house like you're selling tickets to the policeman's ball. I mean, why wasn't the kid brought down to the station house? Why wasn't he interrogated with his father being there and gone over what's going on with regards to this case? I mean, the cops took it so nonchalantly. The father's taking it so nonchalantly. The kid, you know, it looks like a little bit like he, you know, the cat that ate the canary somewhat, with his hands in his pocket, swaying back and forth like that. And the cops are treating it like it's oh, no big deal. We heard you threw a rock through the window. You're going to go talk about that, and did you do it? No, okay. I mean, this is horrendous. This was a threat to murder children, to go into a school, and we've seen it far too many times. Now, maybe that the culture of guns in Georgia is different than the culture of guns in New Jersey.
This isn't about culture of guns, though. This is about the police. Darnell, the police are told he knows everything about guns. Guns are available to him, and he's being bullied in school. And when he's asked the question, like Al pointed out, did you do it? No, I didn't do it. I didn't write that. I don't even know what Discord is. What is going on? Is this going to be enough to convince a jury that the father is now on notice?
Absolutely. And the question is whether the jury is going to view this video as the father being concerned that his kid is not stuck playing video games, that his father wanted him to enjoy the outdoors, that his father was responsible and was just as concerned about the safety of his son and others as we are. That's the question what the jury's gonna have to grapple with. But in terms of the investigation, as you stated in the bumper, they had the IP address, and I've had these cases. I've had a guy who was profiled across CNN and across all these networks because of threats to shoot up a school. And so I've handled these cases. When you have an IP address, they're supposed to come to the house, say the IP address matches, at least ask permission to view his devices, look at Concord or Cord or whatever the website was.
Discord.
Discord. Do some investigation. Like Al said, in this particular case, it seemed like, oh, kid just threw a rock through a window, nothing to see here. And when they went out to talk to the side, the 2 cops were like, hey, well, just write it up. Just, put whatever, put a report that, at least we went out to see him. I mean, that's just not the way you handle
No, this is not being done well by law enforcement, Jennifer Brandt. There's no lack of serious. I mean, if the police aren't concerned, how can we turn around and say the father should be concerned? Like, police, they know, I think they know what this child wrote, or what whoever the child was that wrote this is talking about shooting up a school, taking his own life, and becoming, infamous for being a school shooter. And no one is concerned, but police are the one initiating everything here, and they couldn't seem less concerned.
It just seemed to me from watching the video that there was just a lack of training on the part of these 2 police officers. They were just local sheriffs coming out, were told to do this, told to go question, but it seemed like the message got lost somewhere along the line from the FBI down to the local sheriff's office. Oh, go out and check this story out. But You know, the father said some really important things here that I think a jury is going to look at. He said, oh, if this is serious, or if this, you know, we know better than this. I talk to him about guns all the time, and I'm going to take those guns away. If this is true, I'm going to take those guns away. We're going to have a long talk about this. I mean, the father is right there on the front lines. If police officers, sheriffs, as weak as maybe they were, coming out to your house and questioning your child about some messages that are being sent, the father knowing that the child had problems in school, knowing that the child's been on this Discord website, knowing that, you know, he's been bullied, and the father said he's at the school all the time, and then buying him an AR rifle for Christmas that year, something just doesn't match up. And I think it's very similar to the case we saw in Michigan a few months ago with the Crumley. I mean, giving this child the gun when you know your kid is having all these problems.
I get it. I just wish the police would have, when he said, I'll lock them all up, they should have said, yeah, lock them up today, instead of la-laing this whole thing.
We're confiscating them, right?
This
I
is
mean, the police has the power to
insanity.
Take them, you know,
insanity. I think this guy would have listened to the police. I think he may have, if they showed a little more concern.
So sure.
If they showed a little more concern, if they said lock him up, let's go lock him up right now. How about the police say let's go lock him up right now? Like let's secure the guns.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
I mean,
Take
they
him down
would
to the
lock him up
station
for the moment. They would lock him up for the moment. But this father was into the guns, into his son having guns, and, you know, may have unlocked them the next
We're out of time.
So
we're out of time. We got more to get to.